A home invasion. Do you think you can be a victim? Are you prepared? Well, unfortunately, all of us can be a victim. All of us. And unfortunately, most people are not prepared. So this video basically has a concept of giving you some ideas and some tips on how to protect yourself and how to practice and do some drills in your home in case of a home invasion. You know, we do fire drills. Let's do some drills in case of a home invasion. You need to do that because it's possible it could happen. As a matter of fact, one of my communities that I have a home in, a gated community, there's been 3 home invasions in the last 2 years, and nothing good happened in each one. We know it could happen. Kidnapping, death, horrific things. This is a family channel. I do not want to be graphic. So, by the way, how does someone get into a gated community and commit those type of crimes? In that particular situation, in that community which is gated, and it's a strictly gated community, all 3 home invasions were done by some workers who were building. There was like 20 or 25 homes being built at once, so there was hundreds of people just going straight in. They don't need no gate clicker, they don't need no ID, they don't need anything. They just go to work every day on a big truck, and 8, 10, 12 people per truck piling in to go do their job for the day. And some bad people are within that mix, and they're in the community, and they get into people's homes. So it's very possible that no matter what scenario you're in, you can be a victim of a home invasion. As a matter of fact, I like to use history as an example. And I'm going to give you a little trivia question right now to start this video out. Now, we all know John Lennon was murdered, right? We know he was murdered in 1980. The Beatles, right? Well, where am I going with this? This might surprise some of you. Here's a trivia question. John Lennon, we know, was murdered in 1980. After that, the 3 surviving Beatles, which one of those Beatles was almost killed in a home invasion? In his mansion, with massive amounts of security, a person who, after John Lennon was assassinated, never made a public appearance, or very rarely made a public appearance, from 1980 until 1991, until the time of the home invasion. The answer is George Harrison. George Harrison, in his mansion, at 3:30 in the morning, somebody got into his home, some psychopath who ultimately got off on insanity charges and went into some insane asylum, got into his house and with a knife started screaming his name. He thought he was, the devil was in charge of his mind, or some whatever weirdo reasons these people think up in their minds. Started screaming George's name out. George woke up out of a sound sleep at 3:30 in the morning, grabbed a lamp next to his bed, the only weapon he had, and ultimately met up with the perpetrator. And for 15 minutes, George Harrison was assaulted with a knife, a big knife, stabbed into the chest a couple of times, one of them puncturing a lung, 3 or 4 times through his skull. His wife, of course, immediately called the police, and she saved George Harrison's life by hitting the attacker with a fireplace poker, one of those steel rods, and she just kept hitting him, and then the police arrived, and George Harrison somehow lived. 97, he got cancer. He beat it, went into remission, and then 99, this incident happened. People don't realize this, and then he died in 01. I kind of wonder if that took a little bit of his remission out of him. It was a very unfortunate story. So now the point is, no matter who you are, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter what type of security you have, you can be a victim of a home invasion. Let me show you what's on the table, then I'm going to get to my story here. Gotta move on here. Gotta move on. Here is a Car PM40. We're going to talk a little bit about ammo here in a moment. There is 2 flashlights, a TK45 and a TA21. I'm going to tell you how these products may help you in a home invasion. There is a Glock 30 45 caliber with a Glock 21 magazine holding 15 rounds. And you've got a Crimson Trace laser, and you have a Glock light on the front. A must for all home invasions is lighting. We'll talk about that. Here is a Taurus Judge revolver shotgun. Pretty cool, 410. Okay, here is a Mossberg 500 pistol grip. Might be good, might not be so good, because you might not get back on target with the recoil, but we'll talk about that. There is a Sig Sauer 5.56 NATO round caliber, extremely powerful. Up there is our good buddy, the Remington 870 shotgun. That is the turkey gun, that's what it's called. And down here are some blades. You got the Espada extra large way in the back, and then you have the Gurkha Curry fixed blade. So you have a folding blade and a fixed blade. You have up here a Tomahawk. We'll talk about how that might help save your life. We have over here the sister to that SWAT gun is the rifle, the Sig Sauer 5.56 rifle. And then over here is a Sega, very hard to obtain these days. That's a Sega 12 gauge shotgun, holding 12 in the magazine, semi-automatic, and 1 in the chamber. You've got 13 rounds of shotgun, 12 gauge shotgun shells with a light and laser on it. And down here, I got to zoom in on this because this is beautiful. I've had this a long time, since the early 80s. It went up in value. This is a Winchester police model, 12 gauge, and can you see that real close? It says proof steel. That's what you want. You can't buy it no more, but you can find a used one. I'd grab it. But okay, so that's what's on the table. Now let's keep talking about home invasions and different scenarios. This is not legal advice. This is not professional advice. This is just some tips. If I can give you some tips each week, or from each video you get one tip, then it works out for both of us. You're watching and I'm giving you a tip per video. Hopefully more than one, but if you get just one, that's okay too, right? Now, assuming that the laws in your state allow you to obtain these weapons and it is legal for you to keep them in your home, that's important obviously, so make sure that's the case. A home invasion might take place if someone just rings the doorbell and you answer it innocently, or if you're sound asleep, someone goes through a window, tries to kidnap a child, you don't even know it, so you wake up. It's happened. It's real. So you have to have different measures put in place to protect yourself and your family. So now if you're by yourself, you can certainly put these weapons throughout your home, throughout your castle, and nobody knows your home as well as you do. Keep that in mind. Nobody knows your home as well as you do. You've got hiding places. You can have a poster on the wall with a small gun behind it. You can do a lot of different things by the front door. There's a lot of different things you can do. If you have a spouse or a roommate, a partner living with you, it's just the two of you, it's very important that both of you are on board with where the weapons are. If you have a shotgun, is it loaded? Does it have one in the chamber? Does it have to be cocked? If you've got a revolver, are all of the cylinders full of bullets? Or is there, sometimes people keep one of them empty, the next shot, for safety precautions. If you've got a semi-automatic pistol, is there one in the chamber? These are things you need to discuss with whoever else is in your home, whatever other adult is in your home. Everyone has to be on board where everything is. It's like a fire drill. You need to pull together and discuss it like once a year, or maybe quarterly, because these are weapons. These could hurt people. These will kill people. So we want to be very safe. Safety is number one. Now, let's take a look at the table and talk about each gun and what it could do for you in case of a home invasion. Now, let's start with the simple one, the flashlights. This is a must. I told you I'm going to give you some tips, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is more than a tip. This is like 5 steps higher than a tip. This is just like something you just have to have if you can afford it. If you can afford to buy a good $75 flashlight, then get one of these. These might be a little bit more than that, but Phoenix is a good line of flashlights. I prefer Phoenix, but all the manufacturers like Surefire and 4.7s make flashlights. Okay, you see that? That'll blind somebody. That is like a car beam light. So you want to have a flashlight in all scenarios. This one here is my favorite, the Phoenix TA21. You see that? I'm sorry to do that to you. But this will assist you in buying a few seconds if someone does a home invasion. So a flashlight's a must, no matter what. Now fixed blades or a folding blade. There we have in the back the very large and very pricey $400+ a Spada. As sharp as a razor blade, as sharp as a box cutter, if you can even fathom that on a blade that big and that heavy. Extremely powerful. It's not going to take too much to stop somebody with that knife. Now what's good about the folding blade is you can keep it, people joke about putting it under your pillow, but you can put it in a pillowcase, in a pillow next to you, so it's safer that way. You don't want to be sound asleep and cut yourself, but it's folded. You can, this is just a tip, that's what I do. I keep it in a pillowcase, in a pillow. I have like 4 or 5 pillows, and one of the pillows I know where it's at. That's why I keep my folding blade at night. You have the fixed blade. The fixed blade is extremely large, extremely powerful. You want to have that nearby also. It's up to you. These are just tips. This is the cold steel Gurkha curry. It's not going to take too much to slow someone down with that. Power also. The flashlight, the knives are great, but I tell you what, there's nothing like a good old shotgun. Now this shotgun here, I'll just talk about them as we move along here. Let's go to the Mossberg Pistol Grip 500 model. Okay, that's a 12 gauge. First of all, you want to make sure you use the right ammunition within your 12 gauge. This is just what I recommend, and you can't go wrong with it. This Winchester PDX-1, I keep talking about this ammo, but read that real close. A 1 ounce slug plus 3 double-aught buck pellets. Ugh. All that. Think of the amount of gunpowder in a 12 gauge projecting just 4 projectiles. I don't know the speed on it, but I know it's way up there. Probably, I'm guessing, about 1,500 feet per second. This has got a lot of knockdown power, and that's perfect for home defense. No matter which one you choose here, there's 3 on the table. You got the 2 pistol grips, and you have the Sega up there. And you want to make sure, like I said earlier, that you use ammo that is not going to go through walls. So that's only 4 total pellets. If you use a slug and a shotgun, you could just hurt a family member. Now the problem with a pistol grip shotgun is that, especially for a female or a smaller adult or even a big guy like me, 6'4", I got to admit, you shoot a 12 gauge in your hand, it's got a lot of recoil, and it's going to get hard for you to get back on target. So you're not shooting some birdshot here where you can just spray a whole area. You're just shooting 4 or 5 bullets in the ammo that I recommended. So the problem with the pistol grip is you're shooting from like the hip. You're not shooting with your eyeball looking down some sights. So you want to make sure you hit your target. So that's the problem with the pistol grip. The good thing about the Remington, any Remington 870, I just happen to throw this one up here. You got the stock up there with the rubber on the back, on the butt, to help recoil, and then you've got the ability to aim and shoot. Now that gun does not have lighting on it. It is a must, in my opinion, to have lighting on every gun in your home for the event of self-defense and a home invasion. Lighting is critical. For instance, this SIG 556. You want to make sure, like I said, you use ammo that is going to mushroom out. And let me show you here what is a must. Right here. You don't see the flashlight, but you can see the flash. That pulsating light is going to disorientate the perpetrator or a bunch of thugs coming in. It's going to buy you a couple of seconds and you can start blasting away. I'm not trying to sound like a Rambo. I'm just trying to tell you this is to save your life. This is like the worst case scenario. People break in your house, into your castle. Your home is your castle. But you want to make sure you use the right ammo, because even the strongest castle in the world, you got some bullets that will go through those walls. Be careful what ammo you choose. All right, let's look at the rifle now. You want to use an AR type gun. The SIG .556 is a perfect example. Whether you're using .223 caliber or .556 caliber, you might want to have the stock on it, is what I'm trying to say. And you make sure you use the right ammo, have the right stock that suits you best. Because the pistol, that's great, but you know, you better hit your target. That's what it's all about. The Sega 12 gauge shotgun, very hard to attain. This is one of my favorites for a home invasion in the worst case scenario. But I tell you what, having 12 gauge shotgun shells is pretty powerful. 12 gauge shotgun shells, that's exactly right. Plus one in the chamber, you got 13 altogether. As far as answering your doorbell, think about this, just an idea. Just, you know, just depending on where you live, you know your area, you know what's going on. If my doorbell rings at 7 a.m., I don't know, it's strange, and who's going to be visiting me at 7 a.m.? I'm going to walk up to the door with this. This is a Kahr PM40, K-A-H-R, and what's nice about it, you see that? It's got the laser on it. So you won't miss your target. And I do like this ammo. I'll zoom in on that ammo. Okay. Just like I showed you for the shotgun, this whole line of PDX-1, in my opinion, is the best line of ammo for personal protection. Now, the Glock, or whatever semi-automatic you want to use, whether it be a 1911 little Kimber or Springfield, it doesn't matter. Whatever semi-automatic you want to use, you want to have a laser and you want to have a light. Now, the light's the most important thing. The laser is more for you, not so much intimidating the attackers. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. These attackers, they're going to not be your normal criminal. These guys are coming in full of adrenaline, total psychopaths, who knows what they're on, and they're just coming in ready to do horrific things. So a red little dot, they might think is a discotheque down the block reflecting. They're not going to be in their right mind, most likely. They're not going to be all that smart. But a pulsating light off of your handgun is going to disorientate them. It's going to give you that chance to get your shot and take them out and save your life and save your loved one's life. So here's what I mean by the Glock. I'm going to walk up to it. It's got a crimson trace laser, and it's got this light, which is extremely bright. I'm sorry to point it at you. I'm not going to shoot you through your computer screen. It is unloaded. Here's another weapon on the table here. It's a cold steel Tomahawk. Not too much money. They're about, I think, $30, $35. I've got 3 or 4 of these throughout my home, and I keep saying nobody knows your home better than you do. Just think about that. No one knows your home better than you do. Think of the hiding places where you can put stuff. And while I'm on this topic, I want to also say this. Children. What do we do about children? I have 2 children, age 3 and 5. It makes everything totally different on how we protect ourselves. Let me pan out and talk about that, because I really want to expand on that topic of children within your home. And most people watching this, I'm guessing, have children. Or a lot of people do. And I do. I have a 3 and 5-year-old. So how do I keep all of this stuff on? I don't keep all of this stuff on the table in my home loaded all around the place. There'd be no way to do it with children. But if you have 1 or 2 rifles or 1 or 2 pistols and a couple of blades, you have to keep them out of the reach of children, obviously. So keep that in mind. I mean, whether it's got to be up 8 feet high, and you need to think about it. Maybe you need a little step ladder sitting there to get to it. I'm 6'4". I have all these little ways of getting to weapons where nowhere else in my home can get to them. So keep that in mind. Children have to be safe. Now, as far as this cold steel Tomahawk blade, this is pretty sharp, this blade. And that's what it is. It's a blade. It's not a hatchet. Call it what you want, but it's super, super sharp. And I'll talk about sharpening skills at another time. But I'll tell you right now, I learned from David at K&W Gunworks that if you're pulling into your garage, let's just pretend you're coming home from the mall And people do follow you from the mall, especially around Christmas time and holiday season, or any time. It doesn't matter. You're coming home from the mall and they just see you pulled out of Macy's and you got a bunch of bags, and they want those bags. They will follow you home. Don't think they won't, the bad people. It happens every day across America and the world. So what do? You pull in your garage, all of a sudden someone follows you. What do? Well, if you're prepared, you've got hopefully a gun on you and a knife or something. But if you don't, you forgot that day or whatever, something silly, you didn't carry your weapon. This is another idea, just an idea. A hatchet. Okay? Now you might put it behind a poster, you might put it above your head at arm's reach, and you might have two of them. You might have one by your front door, away from children and innocent people. Only you know where it's at. You let the adults know where it's at. But this is a huge tip. I like this little Tomahawk hatchet because someone pulls up behind me in my garage, I've got one little booby trap waiting for you. You come after me in my castle, I'm gonna have some booby traps. Alright. The Taurus Judge is a pretty good weapon for personal defense. The one problem is it's only 5 shots, and it is a 410 gauge. Here's the ammunition I recommend for it. Same Winchester PDX-1. Now look at that. You got 12 BBs plus 3 plated cylinder projectiles. Look at the picture closely. You can see exactly what's coming out of that gun. It's just amazing. So that's good for like 10, 12, 15 feet max, but I tell you what, most home invasions, that's how close you'll be, if not even closer, 3 to 4 or 5 feet. So the Judge is good for that, but you only have 5 rounds, and if there's 2 or 3 guys coming in at you, you'll be out of ammo pretty quick. But that's good to have. These are just ideas, alright? So I want some input on what you would do in case of a home invasion. WeaponsEducation.com on YouTube. I do appreciate you watching, and I hope you subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And if you are a subscriber, please tell somebody else. Alright, check it out. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.